Hi, everybody. Brian Foote here. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to hit the like button if you like what you hear. I wanted to talk to you about one of the largest companies, one of the largest retailers on the entire planet, and that's Walmart. And this is, as always, it's not a stock recommendation, long or short, but it is unquestionably one of the great companies of all time. And I'm listening to the autobiography of Sam Walton, which came out over 30 years ago. In fact, Mr. Walton passed away in 1992. Anyway, the company that he built went public in the early 70s. And looking through the 1970 prospectus, which I found online, and we'll talk about this later in more detail, but I'd noticed that in 1970, when the company went public, in their IPO prospectus, they listed something really interesting, which is that they had only at that point just over 30 stores. When they went public, and from the time they went public to now, the stock has compounded 2,769 times. So if you had bought stock then, you would have a 276,000% return. That sounds massive, and it is. I mean, if you had invested, say, $1,000 in 1972, let's say, that $1,000 would be worth $2.7 million, and you'd still be throwing off a dividend, right? That $1,000 would have. Remember, Walmart does have a dividend. What does that translate into in percentage terms? The compound annual growth rate is 16.4%. So we're going to be talking a lot about Walmart as a case study because A, everybody knows Walmart, and B, 16.4% doesn't sound very heroic, but in fact it is, right? So think about right now, for those of you who are young enough to look at the next 52 years of investing, my son is, and many people coming out of college, and even people early in their career can look at the next 50 years and say, can I find stocks that compound at 16% a year? Now, not to go into too much of the story because it is an exciting one, especially if you're into retail. But one chapter Mr. Walton is talking about is the competition. And at that point, when he was launching the Walmart discount chain that is ubiquitous and famous today, he had a competitor known as K-Mart, which has gone by the wayside, Woolworth, which is no longer operating any Woolworth branded stores, but at that point, Woolworth was one of the more famous competitors. The number three competitor was Dayton Hudson, which was actually developing its discount chain known as Target, and Walmart, which was a small Arkansas chain, again with about 30 locations when they went public. Just to put that in perspective, Walmart got to about 19 stores by the end of the 1960s, and at that point, Kmart, which has subsequently been shut down in all but one location, I believe, in the United States. I think it's the one out in the Hamptons. But Kmart had 250 stores. At that point, would you bet on a guy with a pickup truck in Bentonville, Arkansas, or would you bet on the mighty Kmart, which had, again, 250 stores, I think over $8 billion in revenue, versus this store, which had 19 chains? I want to talk heavily about competition, competitive landscape. This IPO document is chock full of great ideas. But remember, standing there in 1970, when Mr. Walton took the company public, to right now, split adjusted, reversing back, I think the stock was trading, or I can see that the stock was trading at about 2.3 cents relative to the 64.99 where it trades today at the end of May of 2024. So not a huge compound. 16.4% gets you over time 2,770 times your money. Bear that in mind. as we sift the world for the next Walmart and we sift the world for the next great ideas. Thanks for sticking with me, and talk to you soon.